Good morning, Brownsville. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this feed. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Frankie Olivo. Our program focuses on the very important issues that are affecting the local community. We have shed light on injustices and we allow for our platform, this mic, to be that of the voice of the people. Now, if this is something you can see yourself supporting, well, we ask that you join the cause. Make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe to all of our social media platforms. Currently, right now, this live program is being streamed on X, formerly known as Twitter, and on Facebook. We could be found under Frankie Olivo. We also ask that you follow our personal page on Face. We could be found under Olivo Frankie. But more importantly, if you haven't already, create a Gmail account, go to YouTube, like, follow, and subscribe to our channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. It's free. Remember, I will never ask you for money. I will never ask you for food. You want us to continue to talk about everything that is happening within our area, I will gladly do so. All I ask in return is something very simple, something that won't cost you a dime. It's easy as ABC 1, 2, 3. You may ask, why? Why are you asking us to subscribe to all of our social media platforms? Well, as of late, our Facebook page is at risk of being taken down. The powers that be do not want you, the voter, the constituent, to know the truth. But remember, we will not be silenced. So if you're really about the cause and you want to stand up to corruption and you want to hold our elected leaders and those in leadership positions accountable, you know what to do. Make sure that you follow, like, and subscribe all of our social media platforms. Remember, Good Morning Brownsville will come on Monday through Friday religiously. So make sure that you subscribe to Frankie Olivo TV to tune in. We will not be silenced. And always remember, we are forever grateful to each and every one of you for the time and attention that you provide us. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for that. How we doing, chat? How we doing? Happy Thursday. I'm here a little bit early. I do apologize. I know our allocated time slot is 9, 9:30, possibly 10. As much as people do not want to admit it, or they even question, Frankie, do you work? Yes, I work. This is just a hobby of mine. I do have a busy Thursday. That is why I'm coming on a little bit earlier. I'm going to give you a good 10, 15 minutes tops. I do promise you tomorrow we will have a banger story. We're going to interview someone that was greatly affected by a candidate that is running for elected office. So you don't want to miss tomorrow's program, ladies and gentlemen. I will announce it later this afternoon, this evening, getting y'all ready. That way you can have a little bit of an idea of what we will be talking about tomorrow. So I apologize. Today's program is going to be quick, 10, 15 minutes. Boom, boom, boom. Tomorrow's program, I promise you, it is worth the wait. Ladies and gentlemen, BISD has been in the news as of late. Superintendent Dr. Jesus Chavez was placed on the agenda for consideration and possible action for him to be terminated. What we learned from Tuesday's BISD board meeting was that he submitted his resignation. Now, I did have followers and people question, Frankie, how can somebody resign and then you say that, he's avoid, how could somebody resign? What was the question? How could somebody resign and you say that he's getting fired? Well, it's something that happens whenever these individuals, they don't want to get fired. Whenever people are in some sort of positions, they always say, how do you resign if your contract ends? That was a question by Rafita. And the way it works is, ladies and gentlemen, what's worse, to go on your resume that you were fired from a school district or that you resigned? Remember, these individuals, they want to go out on their own terms. If they do the Donald Trump, you're fired. That's like the worst thing that could happen. And the way it works is BISD, there's 7 positions? 0, 5, 6, 7. In order for an agenda item to pass, the magic number is 4. You need 4 board members on your side. Right now, the way the board works, and it's probably shifted. I haven't really been paying attention too much to BISD. I'm not sure if you're aware. we're slaying dragons over here in the Cameron County races and also the congressional race. But the way it stood in previous times were a 3-3 lock. We had Daniel Lopez Valdez, Denise Garza, Jessica Gonzalez on one side. You had Carlos Elizondo, Minerva Peña, and Frank Ortiz on the other. And the swinging vote was, or is possibly, I don't know the dynamics of it right now, is the Golden Girl. And Daniela Lopez Valdez and her faction, the girls, they were trying their best to protect Dr. Jesus Chavez. While on the other side, you had Carlos Elizondo, Frank Ortiz, and Minerva Peña that were adamantly after his job. Now, what happened? I got word on the weekend that I haven't checked myself, so please cross-reference. Please make sure that you fact-check me. The ones that put this on the agenda for Dr. Jesus Chavez to be placed on the chopping block, so to speak, was Denise Garza and Minerva Peña. Now, what happened? What happened for Denise Garza to say, you know what? Sorry, but your time is up. Something must have happened. There's people that have said that Denise Garza didn't get something that she was asking for, that maybe she had questions, that she had a complaint against, I don't know, B. Hernandez or another top administrator. And you know, whenever she went to go voice her concerns to Dr. Jesus Chavez, it fell on deaf ears. That's what I hear. I don't know. But ultimately, the ones that put him on the chopping block was Denise Garza and Minerva Peña, which is very odd. So what does Jesus Chavez do? Dr. Chavez do? Again, the writing is on the wall. If we remember this past June, they couldn't come to an agreement. Again, there was only, after the death of Erasmo Castro, the board president, there was only 6 board members. So whenever Dr. Jesus Chavez's contract came up for renewal, it was a 3-3 lock. And the way it works is, I forgot how they mentioned it legally. The legal term is based on operations of law. You know, it's moot, so it carries over. So instead of Dr. Jesus Chavez back in June of 2025 receiving a 3-4 year contract, he was just extended for 1 year because it was a 3-3 lock. So again, he knows he's on the chopping block. Now for Denise Garza to take the plunge and say, I'm gonna second it, or I'm gonna put you on the agenda. What does that tell Dr. Jesus Chavez? That his time is up, unfortunately. And again, they asked the question, how can you resign if your contract ends? You are pretty much telling the board, I'm done. I'm not going to ask to be renewed. I'm not going to reapply. I understand the dynamics now. My time is up. Thank you so much. Just let me walk out, you know, on that horse, you know, riding into the sunset, so to speak. So that's what happened. So the big question now is, what's next for BISD? What's going to happen? Right now, BISD is in a very, very peculiar spot. It's the fork in the road, so to speak, because the dynamics of the board right now is not very good. When we talk about finances, the school district is anywhere from 15 to 20 to possibly $25 million in debt. What would have happened, let's say hypothetically, if the community, the city of Bronzeville, voted in favor of the propositions A and B, which BISD asked the community to raise taxes in order for the school district to raise $500,000. After 30 years, it would have been $1 billion to renovate, maintenance, schools, HVACs, and also for a performing arts center. What would have happened, let's say hypothetically, if the community would have voted in favor of this? Would Dr. Chavez still have his job? Possibly. I genuinely believe that if this would have passed, he would have possibly been renewed. Also, another thing that the community has stated is, well, he has a $400,000 plus salary. I think it's $400,000 plus benefits, health, car, you know, phone. You know, it's possibly the 420s. And somebody on the page, and I thank you so much, and I forget who stated it. They said, man, he gets paid more than the president, than a governor, than the president's administration. And you're right. When we look at other school districts in Houston, Dallas, I don't think they get as much. So will this be a caveat for the board moving forward? Will they look for somebody that's has experience, has the knowledge, the mindset, the grit in order to take this difficult task? Because, ladies and gentlemen, BISD is on a collision course. They are projected to be around the 27,000 student enrollment mark in 5 years. We're talking about a dip of 20,000 students in the last 10, 15 years, which is unthinkable. Now, this is something that school districts across the whole state have been facing. But whoever, and again, it's very important moving forward because we have elections coming up in November. 4 positions are up in this upcoming election for BISD, where the majority is going to change. We've already seen people. I think there's a Diaz that has already thrown his hat in the ring, running for position 2, the position that Denise Garza currently sits on. Whoever comes into the BISD board, ladies and gentlemen, it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be difficult because they're not going to have no wiggle room. They're not going to be able to do things that they want. It's going to be cut. Another thing that I wanted to talk about very quickly was what's going to happen about the schools. The way it works, ladies and gentlemen, whenever you lose students, again, students make up a large part of funding. Whenever you lose students, you lose a large chunk of money. According to BEST, Patrick Hamas, a leader within the teacher organization, he stated that anywhere from 7 to possibly 14 schools needed to be closed. Not just school closures, Robert, but also layoffs. Do you think genuinely that these people are going to cut at the top, those that make $150,000, $100,000, 6-figure salaries? No. The first ones that are going to get cut are the bus drivers, the teacher aides, nurses, counselors. Well, counselors are probably a lot more, they're very important, of course. But bus drivers, janitors, is those individuals at the bottom of the totem pole. So there is going to be serious repercussions. And now you have a board that is running for re-election. They don't want to touch the issue of closing schools. Why? Because it's election season. And they're going to look horrible if they do so. What board member wants to face the community and say, oh, yeah, I cut these schools because I closed these schools because it was the best interest for the district? Remember what happened last time they proposed closing down the schools? People came crying. People came begging, asking them not to close the schools. So what's going to happen? The board is going to save face, going to say, no, we're not going to close any schools. But what's going to happen to our budget? It's going to lead to an even further deficit for the school district. Right now, again, we're in the $15 to $20 million range. Could that potentially double? All because these board members are looking out for their best interests so they could get reelected? At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, you have to ask yourself this question. Have this board done anything that has improved the quality of education that your child has received? That's what it boils down to, because nobody deserves to get reelected, plain and simple. Nobody on that board has done anything to merit your vote. So what is going to happen with BISD? I don't know. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look promising. And again, whoever comes on this board is going to have a difficult task getting out of the mud, because there's a lot of mud right now. The school district is stuck in the mud. And right now, more than ever, it's going to be very, very important to make sure that we make the tough decisions of closing schools, cutting costs, making sure that our budget is balanced in some sort of way. I don't know how that's going to happen. And also that we elect somebody, possibly not locally, maybe somebody with the experience of running the size of BISD. Because if we get a same old same from the same litter, we're going to get the same old dirty politics that we're used to. How do you feel in regards to BISD, ladies and gentlemen? Do you have any faith in your local elected leaders on that board? Only time will tell. Ladies and gentlemen, my time is up. Again, I apologize. I have a very, very busy day. Tomorrow, I promise to make up to you. We have a very interesting interview with somebody that was greatly affected by an elected official. You won't want to miss it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel titled Frank Legal TV. Best believe we'll come on Monday through Friday religiously. All we ask in return is something very simple of our community. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to our channel titled Frank Legal TV on YouTube. My name is Frank Legal, and this is Good Morning Brownsville. Peace!